In this video, I want to discuss with you guys how I tricked my own brain into creating very high levels of discipline and consistency. How to take massive action. Because right now, guys, like if you already had the tools and the understanding of how to do this, you would be doing it. If you don't have the success you want in life, if you don't have the level of discipline or consistency that you truly want, that the best version of yourself should have, well, then clearly you're not capable of doing it alone right now. So I want you to use the concepts in this video and understand how I was able to trick myself to actually create that new identity. Okay, so let's start out with the idea of anchors, because most of us, we use anchors in a negative way. We have anchors that are not benefiting us. We have anchors in maybe a shitty job, or we have a certain identity created in that environment, or we have a group of friends that we hang out with maybe way too much and they're not actually beneficial to us. Like that was me. I had both of those. I worked a pizzeria job where I would smoke a lot of weed, and I also hung out with around a bunch of friends that were just not. We got the photo bomb. Somebody had to do it. It's not my man today. But I would hang around people that smoked a lot of weed, and I would go to this pizza job. And I had identities anchored in both of these environments. I was convinced that I needed to stay at this pizzeria job. I don't even know why. It doesn't make sense. I thought the owners, I felt like they needed me to still be there because we had such a relationship built up that there was this expectation that I needed to stay at this job. And same thing with the friend group. It's like there's an expectation that you're going to continue to hang out with them because of the routine you've created. And so you don't want to break those expectations from the other people that you've created. And that's exactly what happened. I stayed at that pizzeria job for 5 years, smoking weed, going to school, delivering pizza. And I told myself it's okay because I'm getting paid while I'm going to school. And same thing with the friend group. It's okay because I'm still getting my work done, so I can still do this on a daily basis. Both of those identities I had created were not serving the best version of me and who I wanted to become. But I was so deep in it at the time, I had no idea. Actually, if you would have asked me, I thought I was fucking thriving. It's crazy to even think about that. I thought I was thriving back then. So that's how the anchors were negatively impacting me. They weren't serving me. Now, when you understand this, you need to evaluate your own life and figure out what are the anchors that you have in your own life right now that you are consistently going to. They could be friends, it could be environments, it could be work. It's just like a routine thing that you're doing where there's an identity tied into that thing. Right? Like with my old friend group, when I first started trying to practice social confidence, I couldn't go out and just practice it in front of them because I had an identity around them that was anchored into those environments. So if I was out with that group, I couldn't just go out and do the thing because it was against the identity that they knew me as. There was an expectation that they perceived me as, and people are going to act how you expect them to act a lot of the time. If they have a relationship developed with you, you have influence over how other people are going to act. If you ever go around a certain friend group, or you go around your parents, or you go around your grandparents, like there's an expectation and you don't want to go too far outside of what's expected of you. That's an anchor. You're pulled down and tied down to this expectation. And your environment can do that. You will act differently in a library in your hometown versus in a nightclub in Las Vegas, right? There are certain anchors. So realize what are the anchors that you have in your own life. And dude, you're gonna need to take the first step to start getting out of those places, to start putting yourself into more beneficial anchors, right? Like my employees, my coaches, they dropped everything they had in their life to fly out to live with me. I guarantee you that them living in a college dorm 5 years ago versus sleeping on my couch, how much more anchors or leverage is there for them to now take the right action, to not do the bad shit, to be more proactive? It's not a coincidental that they all have their own channels right now and they're all putting out content. It's because there's a new anchor and a new expectation that they're using it to their benefit, right? If they would stay home around their peer group at the pizzeria job with the friends and smoking the weed, it's gonna be very hard to break through. Or even on a bigger, more macro level, just relocating, right? I moved to Miami, I'm out here in Miami. It's a lot easier, I've noticed, to go after my goals when I'm surrounded by the people that are in Brickell versus the people I grew up with. And nothing against any of those people. I love them. I'll always have love for them. I will probably hang out with them again at some point. I'm excited to see them. But I can guarantee you my future, the best version of myself, I have a stronger anchor living here than I did in my hometown. So there's micro and macro. That's the first part. Let's talk about actual leverage you can use. There's internal and external leverage that you can also use to propel yourself forward, because once you're doing these things long enough, you'll actually create a new identity. There's a shitload of construction going on right now. It's really fucking annoying, honestly. There's been a lot of people walking in and out of my video. It's constantly happening. But I'm going to stay focused and try to over deliver on this thing regardless. So lock in with me, okay? It's not easy. Go out in public, pull out a cell phone when there's people right around you, and try to just speak no filter. It's not that easy. But internal and external leverage. The first one would be internal. This is what I used to do a lot too. When I would stop quitting weed, the moment I would stop smoking the weed and a couple of days have gone by, I start identifying, creating a new identity of the dude who's not smoking weed, and I hype that guy up in my own mind. But more importantly, I look at the old me, or I look at the people that are still doing that thing, and I am just disgusted with them. I start to see and exaggerate all the negative characteristics that are associated with that concept. Okay, I'm not saying you like look really bad at other people. It's more of like an internal thing that you're going to be doing. But anytime I see weed, I want to associate the worst negative connotations with that activity. The worst, the absolute worst. I'm going to exaggerate the fuck out of it. Laziness, stupid, can't think, brain fog, get high, get munchies, not productive, pigging the fuck out, melting into the fucking couch, just sleeping 12 hours plus, getting high, jerking off, like all the negative shit. You want to associate all the negatives with it and exaggerate the fuck out of them to the point where you become disgusted at that thing. Not any one particular other person, it's just the concept of smoking weed. Or if it was whatever the thing is for you, if it's playing video games or if it's like jerking off, there's dudes who would struggle with that. You want to look at that thing when you're on the other side as the most unproductive, most pathetic thing that a dude could do. You can't mate with a woman, so you just need to use your hand, bro. You're getting off with your hand on a day. Like, I want you to just build it up so much, because by doing that, you start to create separation, and that's really what you're gonna need. It's leverage. The more separation there is between you and the thing, the harder it is to go back to the thing. The less separation, the less friction, the less of a gap there is, it's very easy to go back to the thing. That's why it's called using leverage, right? Like, imagine taking a step. A very big step would be hard to do. A huge step, you wouldn't even take the step. It would be too big. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create massive separation. And so that's what I would do. It's like when I would stop smoking weed, I would just look at weed as the most pathetic, fucking embarrassing, low life level thing. But here's the thing, like, I knew part of me didn't believe that, because once you start to have the cravings and you're in a lower frequency, you start to try to talk yourself into wanting to do it. And that's why you need to use this tool, because the more you can create that separation, it's harder to go back. It's harder to go back. Like, I've talked so much negative shit on drinking publicly because I haven't drank in like 150 days at this point. Maybe more than that, I don't know. But it's been about 150 days. And I talked so much shit on it that now there's this massive separation between my new identity and the old me that was around those concepts. And now it makes it much harder for me to go back to the thing because of me exaggerating it. Now, like, look, in reality, dude, I could probably go out and have one drink and it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. I could probably even go out and get drunk and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I know that lifestyle, and I know it's a slippery fucking slope. And even though I could probably go back and do it one time or hit the blunt one time, it's not just gonna be one time. The one time happens over and over and over again, and that leads to 2 or 3. So do you see how when you make it one small thing, I could probably have one small sip. I could probably have one drink. Look, that's a very small step, and it makes it easy to go back to. But what you don't understand is you're creating the habit of going back and back and back, and you get accustomed to that. So what I'd rather you do is you just exaggerate the fuck out of it, so it's not an easy step to go back to. This is an internal lever you do, and really, you want to associate all the negative shit. You get drunk because you don't have confidence, because you need to escape from your life. So that way you could be fucking blacked out and hungover and end up with the fucking girl you thought was attractive because you were wasted and met her in a pitch black nightclub, right? Like, you could you could play it as far as you want to go, and use your own internal talk to create that and exaggerate those situations. This is a hack, man, honestly. Because if you don't do this, understand the other side is your brain is gonna downplay the whole thing. And so I'm very big on just being proactive. It's either your brain downplays it, and when you're in a low frequency, you're gonna try to talk yourself into doing it, or you take the more proactive approach and you exaggerate the thing deliberately as a means of counteracting what our default brain would go to. I exaggerate the other side of it and really disassociate my current identity with that thing. Oh, you still smoking weed? Fucking loser. I remember when I used to smoke that shit. I remember when I would smoke fucking weed, bro. Shit was fucking pathetic. Right? The more I could talk highly of my new identity and the more I disassociate it, the harder it is to go back to the thing. That's an internal lever. The last part I want to talk about is the external levers that you could use, which is actually talking to your friends about it, talking about these things publicly, using financial leverage, making bets around the whole thing, or committing to a streak, like verbalizing or writing down and publicly stating a streak that you're going to commit to take the new action, to remove the bad thing from your life. That's an external lever that you can use as financially as well. Because to just quit something indefinitely is a very big jump that a lot of us can't commit to. But we do have short-term motivation. If there's an end goal in sight, we could put up with the bullshit for a week or 30 days or 100 days even. Because there's this end goal in sight, and for some reason that allows us to think we're not gonna have to suffer forever. Because the current headspace we're in to not do the thing is suffering. So we need to tell ourselves that we're only gonna suffer for a certain amount of time. So you use the leverage, you use anchors, new environments, internal levers you could pull. Everything I was just talking about. And what you'll see is as you go 30 days in, you're in a different mindset now. Initially, you don't think you could go beyond 100 days because it's going to be extremely uncomfortable. By the time you get to day 30, day 60, day 80, it's not that uncomfortable anymore. And by the time you actually hit 100 days using financial leverage, you made a bet with your friend, you publicly announced it, you're talking about it, you wrote it down, you track this shit in your journal every morning that you're going to stay strong with the thing. You remove the anchors and the environments that were shackling that old identity that was weak with this thing. Right? You do all of those things, you can start to create a new habit. And by day 30, day 60, day 90, it won't be that hard. You've shown yourself 100 days in a row, you could do the new thing. And dude, by the time you get to day 100, day 200, depending on the activity, at that point, you're gonna hit a level where you don't want to break the streak now. 150 days straight in the gym. 150 days, no alcohol, no weed. My morning post. I'm making it a streak to film these videos every single day too now. I didn't track how long it's been with this, but I'm starting to track it. I'm not missing a fucking day. I don't care how bad the video is. I'm not missing the streak. I'm not losing that, right? Like this is the second take of this video. The first take, I'm 6 minutes in and I fucked it up. I was like, damn, dude. Damn. Am I going inside? No, I can't break the streak. Can't break the streak. And I got all this fucking bullshit construction going on in the background. I don't even know if you can hear it. I don't even know if this video will go out. But I'm not breaking the fucking streak, I'll tell you that much. Because of the levers I've created. Because of the anchors and the levers that I'm using to create the new identity. That's what I meant to say. Right? So use this for your own brain to literally trick yourself, to push yourself into the direction you want to go in. Because when you don't do any of this shit, our default is to just go backwards to the comfort zone, to go to shit, man. Understand that. Kyle, it's kind of weird that you're doing these tricks. No, dude, understand that if you don't do this, our default is to go in the opposite direction. Our default, mine included, is to just go to shit. Stay comfy, go to shit. You need to take a proactive approach with this if you really want to go after your goals. Once you've created a new identity, it's not hard. But you need to use these tricks to get yourself into that habit, okay? If you want help with this, if you want even greater anchors, right? If you want to be in my community, that's an amazing anchor. If you want to work with me directly, hopping on a one-on-one coaching call with me when I onboard you, that is a very strong new anchor. That is new leverage. If you spend $97 to get into the community, it's a financial investment. You come to the group calls, you post the weekly reflection post into the group. Those are all anchors and levers that you could use to guarantee that you move forward faster. All right, if you want that, click the link in the description. Get into the group, man. $97, a couple dollars a day, bro. Couple dollars a day. Let me change your life with a cup of coffee, literally. All right, click the button below. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.